Hello, Reds. Welcome again to the hub of Manchester United daily updates. Here we go. Ian Wright tells Manchester United to sign hungry Premier League star to solve striking woes. Premier League legend Ian Wright has been discussing Manchester United's lack of goals, and he reckons they should raid a Premier League rival in their search for a new striker. Ian Wright believes Liam Delap would be the perfect signing for Manchester United in the summer. The Red Devils have endured a difficult 2024-25 campaign and are likely to be active in the transfer market this summer in order to give Ruben Amorim the foundations to re-establish the club as a force in the Premier League. Goals have been hard to come by for United, and both Rasmus Højlund and Joshua Zirkzee, a summer signing from Bologna, have been criticized this term. It's expected Amorim will look for a new striker ahead of the 2025-26 campaign, and a move for Sporting Lisbon's Victor Gyökeres has been mooted, given the success they enjoyed in Portugal. But Wright thinks United should swoop for Delap instead, after watching the Ipswich Town frontman this term. Speaking on the Wright's House podcast, Wright was discussing United's need for goals and said, "Go and get Delap. The thing is, he's got that hunger and disrespect for everybody, and it just feels like the kind of player they need. Hey, need a hero like that, and he's a hero waiting to happen. He's hungry." Whether or not a deal for Delap would be viable, though, is another matter. After plundering 9 Premier League goals for the Tractor Boys this season, other clubs have already been credited with an interest in the former Manchester City man, including Chelsea. Regardless of whether it's Delap or someone else who comes in to try and get more goals for United, Wright went on to point out that there are plenty of other issues which also need sorting if Amorim is to get the club firing again. He added, "Obviously Zirkzee came on against Leicester recently, and he got one, but I don't think they put the ball in the box enough. I don't think there's anyone in the box for when the cross comes in. I don't think they link the play or keep the ball well enough in the final third to sustain pressure on a team. They lose the ball, and then teams can break on them. There's no structure to whether they are going to try to play through teams or around them, so the forwards don't know what's coming. They don't get the kind of service they depend on. When's the last time you saw a Manchester United player score a goal where he's got across a guy at a near post? You don't see those goals from Manchester United." Jadon Sancho delivers fresh swipe at former club as transfer target scouted. Former Manchester United star Jadon Sancho has taken aim at his former club after backing Marcus Rashford's exit decision, with Ruben Amorim scouting his summer targets. Manchester United kept alive their hopes of silverware at the weekend as Leicester were beaten late on. The FA Cup remains on the table for the Red Devils, who are on course to post a worst-ever Premier League season. Ruben Amorim, though, can still deliver a trophy as things stand with the team in contention domestically and in the Europa League. Their dire season, though, has seen plans take shape for next season with transfers identified. Marcus Rashford has just left the club with the player, seemingly having no future under the current regime. Funds are likely to be more readily available in a matter of months, and those at Old Trafford have already begun scouting potential targets as they look to add more quality to a squad that has been regularly. Here's the latest from the red side of Manchester. Jadon Sancho has left United fans fuming after suggesting that Rashford is now enjoying freedom following his move to Aston Villa. Sancho, who's still under contract at Old Trafford but is currently on loan at Chelsea, commented on Rashford's Instagram post following his debut for Villa. It was his first appearance since December 12th, having been cast aside by the United manager. Despite the long spell on the sidelines, Rashford looked bright in his brief cameo, after which he took to social media to thank the fans, with Sancho jumping in. "Thank you for the warm welcome," Rashford wrote on Instagram. "Great team performance." In the replies, Sancho posted, "Freedom." Sancho himself was also out in the cold in Manchester for months. He angered former boss Erik ten Hag, which saw him shunned from the first-team environment before he secured a loan move away. Amorim stuck to his word by not rating Sporting Lisbon for their top stars in January, as promised. But he is now plotting moves to land some of his former players in the summer. Amorim claimed in his final days as Sporting boss that he wouldn't return in the new year to steal all their top talents, something he stood by. "In January, I'm not going to get anyone from Sporting," he said. That's what I said, in the summer, and I don't know what I'm going to do. The main point is to hold on until the summer. Second point, you can see that sporting players are great players. Let's see what will happen. The Premier League side have now reportedly sent scouts to watch Sporting star Giovanni Quanda, ahead of a potential move in a matter of months. Record claim that United were present to watch Quanda for Sporting's clash against Porto on Friday. Nemanja Vidic has revealed he did not train and just played matches for spells of his United career due to a back injury. The Serbian, signed as an unknown commodity, went on to become on the Premier League's finest centre-halves, but wasn't without his injury woes. When he left Manchester to join Inter Milan, he only lasted 18 months before calling time on his career. The defender has now claimed that he was allowed to constantly sit out training so that he could perform at the weekends. Vidic has now said in an interview with France Football, "I had the impression that I wasn't the same player, that I couldn't do the same things as before. I couldn't see myself staying in England because the Premier League is very demanding, and I didn't want to play for any club other than United. When you're a footballer, you shouldn't talk about your injuries. I had a herniated disc when I was at Red Star, and I've had it my whole career. In Manchester, there were even periods when I didn't train. I just played the matches. FA Cup 5th round draw in full. Manchester United meet Fulham, while Man City host Plymouth. Plymouth's reward for beating Liverpool in the FA Cup is a 5th round tie away to Manchester City. The Pilgrims dumped the current Premier League leaders out of the competition with a 1-0 win on Sunday, thanks to Ryan Hardy's second-half penalty, and will now head to the Etihad Stadium for a last-16 tie against the 7-time Cup winners, who had to come from behind to beat Leyton Orient 2-1 on Saturday. Holders Manchester United have been drawn at home to Fulham. United beat Leicester 2-1 in controversial circumstances, with Harry Maguire appearing to be in an offside position as he headed in Friday's stoppage-time winner at Old Trafford. Manchester United could offload £375,000 a week flop Casemiro in shock transfer this month, but new club admit it's risky businesses. Manchester United flop Casemiro is set for a risky move to Flamengo. Manchester United are reportedly set to offload Casemiro in a shock transfer to Flamengo, who admit it's risky business. Casemiro, 32, has fallen out of favor at United under Ruben Amorim and has featured for just 20 minutes in the last 5 matches. He currently pockets a whopping £375,000 a week to boot, one of the biggest salaries going. And United were eager to offload Casemiro before the winter transfer window slammed shut last week. However, it remains open in some countries outside Europe. One of those is Casemiro's native Brazil, and reports in his homeland claim that Flamengo are set to complete a sensational loan swoop shortly. Casemiro, who began his football career at rivals Sao Paulo, is likely to jump at the chance of an exit. Antony, Marcus Rashford, and Tyrell Malacia all completed loan moves away from United in the winter window. And Flamengo are even said to be ready to pay part of his mammoth annual salary. However, they reportedly understand there's a huge risk in paying out so much money due to Casemiro's advanced years and recent decline in performances. Journalist Jorge Nicola said, "I can assure you that Flamengo investigated the player's situation in the last few days. The English club agreed to loan him and help with part of his salary. Felipe Luis would love to count on Casemiro. Flamengo understands that, given all the figures, it is a very risky business. Even though United are willing to help with most of the salary, there would still be a very high amount to be paid.